The baby's lips were blue. Marcus could see it even from across the SaveMart parking lot, where the alien woman sat hunched on cold concrete, rocking a bundle that cried too weakly. He stopped mid-step, keys dangling from his hand. His shift had just ended. 11:47 p.m. He had $43 to his name, rent overdue by 3 days, and a phone that kept buzzing with overdraft warnings he was too tired to read. He should have kept walking. But those blue lips. That sound. High-pitched, rhythmic, wet. The cry of something small and dying. And the way everyone else in the parking lot was pretending not to see her. Cars rolling past. People loading groceries. Eyes sliding away like she was invisible. Marcus knew what invisible felt like. He'd been invisible his whole life. The kid whose parents died senior year. The guy who couldn't afford college. The grocery store worker people looked through, not at. He knew what it felt like to need help and get nothing but turned backs. His feet changed direction before his brain caught up. The woman flinched when he approached, arms tightening around the bundle. She wasn't human. Sivari, maybe. Pale blue-gray skin that looked wrong. Dull. Like someone had drained the color out. The twin antenna-like sensory stalks that grew from her temples drooped limply against her neck. Emergency blanket wrapped around her shoulders. The cheap foil kind from shelters. And in her arms, that baby. Gasping. Lips blue. Eyes closed. "Hey," Marcus said quietly, hands visible, approaching like she was a spooked animal. "You okay?" She looked up. Large dark eyes with the faint inner glow Sivari had instead of whites. Those eyes were red-rimmed, leaking clear fluid down her face. "Please," she said, the word mangled by accent and a throat raw from crying. "Please. Baby formula. For Sivari. Please." Her hand thrust out, shaking, holding crumpled bills. Maybe $8. Wrong currency. Alliance credits. Worthless on Earth outside specialty exchanges. Store. They say no. Words tumbling over each other. Say I need prescription. I don't understand. Baby is hungry. 3 days now. Only sugar water. Please. Marcus felt something crack in his chest. 3 days. He looked at the baby. Really looked. The cloth had fallen away from its face. Tiny thing. Skin even paler than its mother's. Same sensory stalks lying flat against its skull. Mouth open. Gasping like a fish drowning in air. "Jesus," he breathed. "I have money." She shook the useless bills desperately. "Please. You work here. You can help. Please." "The store's closed," Marcus said. Her face crumpled. "But," he continued quickly, "I know a place. 24-hour pharmacy. They'll have formula there." He turned toward his car. She didn't move. He looked back. She was staring at him like he'd spoken a language she didn't understand. "Come on," he said gently. "I'll drive you." "You?" Her voice broke. "You help." "Why?" "Because I can hear your baby dying," he thought. "Because everyone else walked past. Because I'm too fucking tired to be the kind of person who walks away. Because someone should," he said instead. Then, softer, "What's your name?" She clutched her baby tighter, studying his face like she was searching for the trap. The catch. The cruelty hiding behind kindness. "Sarah," she finally whispered. "And daughter. Lyra. I'm Marcus." He gestured to his beat-up Honda. "Come on, Sarah. Let's get Lyra fed." It took her 3 heartbeats to move. 3 long seconds where Marcus thought she might refuse. Might choose to sit there in the cold rather than trust a stranger. Then she stood. Slowly. Unsteadily. Followed him to the car. As Marcus unlocked the doors, his phone buzzed again. He glanced at the screen. Account balance, $43.18. Rent due, 4 days. Overdraft warning, pending charges may exceed available funds. He looked at Sarah, at Lyra's blue lips. Then he opened the passenger door. "Get in," he said. "Pharmacy's 10 minutes away." What he didn't say, the formula he'd seen online cost $4 to $7. Plus tax. What he didn't know, in 10 minutes, he'd have negative $4 to $5 in his account. What he couldn't predict, 3 years from now, this choice would give him everything. But right now, it was about to cost him everything. And he was going to do it anyway. The pharmacy's artificial brightness made everything feel surreal. Marcus stood in the baby aisle, phone in hand, Googling Sivari infant formula while Sarah clutched Lyra against her chest and watched him like he might evaporate. "Okay," he muttered, scanning search results. "Okay, So regular human formula will make her sick. Lactose thing. But there's a synthetic version. Brand name Nutricross, specialized for, shit, $48 a canister. His checking account balance flashed behind his eyes. $43.18. He looked at the shelf. There it was. Pale blue canister with multi-species labels. $47.99 plus tax. Marcus closed his eyes. Breathed. Opened them. Reached for the canister. Wait. Sarah's hand caught his wrist. Her skin was cool. Slightly tacky. A Sivari thing. Moisture regulation or something. This is, how much? Don't worry about it. I can't pay. I'm not asking you to pay. He pulled the canister down. You need anything else? Bottles? Diapers? She was crying again. Tears catching light as they tracked down her face. Why you do this? Because your baby's hungry, Marcus said simply. Come on. Let's check out before I start thinking about what I'm doing. At the register, the total came to $53.67 after he added bottles and a pack of microdiapers. He stood there, staring at the card reader, very aware that his checking account was about to show a negative balance. Sir, the cashier prompted. Marcus pulled out his wallet, looked inside at the emergency 20 he'd been saving for gas, looked at the card that would overdraft, looked at Sarah, who was swaying slightly on her feet, eyes glazed with exhaustion and desperation. He put the card back, pulled out the 20 and his debit card. Split it, he told the cashier. 20 on cash. Rest on card. His phone buzzed immediately after the transaction went through. Account alert, overdraft fee of $35 applied, current balance. $35 applied, current balance. 45.49. Fuck. Here. He handed Sarah the bag. There's instructions inside. You have somewhere to go. Somewhere safe. She nodded shakily. Shelter. For refugees. I go there. Okay. Good. Listen. He pulled out his phone, showed her the screen. This is my number. You have a phone? She shook her head. Of course not. Marcus looked around the pharmacy. Spotted a display of prepaid burners. The cheapest was $22. He felt something between a laugh and a sob building in his chest. Wait here, he said. 3 minutes later, Sarah was holding a flip phone with one number programmed in. Marcus's. You need anything, he said. You call. Okay. If Lyra gets sick, if the formula runs out, if anything, you call. I don't. She was shaking now, looking at the phone like it was a bomb. I cannot repay this. My people, we have honor debt. Life debt. This is. Hey. Marcus caught her eyes. You don't owe me anything. Just take care of her. That's all. Why? Sarah asked again, and this time it sounded like a plea. I don't understand. No one helps. Not at hospital. Not at agency. Not at store. Everyone say not my problem. Why you? Marcus looked at Lyra, who'd started rooting weakly against her mother's chest. Because someone should have, he said quietly. Come on. I'll walk you to the bus stop. He watched the bus pull away. Sarah's pale face visible through the window, staring back at him until the vehicle rounded the corner. Then Marcus stood alone at the bus stop. Hands in his pockets. Checked his bank account one more time. Minus $45.49. His rent was due in 4 days. He had maybe a quarter tank of gas. His fridge at home contained ramen, eggs, and shame. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text message. He opened it. A photo. Poorly lit. Blurry. But he could make out Sarah's face. Exhausted but smiling for the first time. And Lyra, cradled in one arm. Tiny mouth wrapped around a bottle of pale blue formula. Below the photo, thank you, thank you, thank you. Marcus saved the photo. Pocketed his phone. Started the long walk home because he didn't have gas money for the drive. And even with the cold eating through his jacket and his overdraft eating through what remained of his dignity, he couldn't stop smiling. The next 3 weeks were brutal. Marcus picked up every extra shift SaveMart would give him. Ate 1 meal a day. Walked to work more often than he drove. His landlord had been surprisingly understanding about the late rent, probably because Marcus had never missed a payment in 2 years. He didn't hear from Sarah. Part of him wondered if she'd lost the phone, or if the shelter had moved her somewhere else, or if something had happened to Lyra and she couldn't bear to tell him. But mostly, he tried not to think about it. He'd done what he could. That was enough. Had to be. Then, on a Tuesday afternoon during his break, his phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Marcus. Sarah's voice. Clearer now. Less desperate. This is Sarah. You remember? Of course I remember. He sat up straighter on the loading dock. How's Lyra? Is everything okay? She is, good. Growing. The formula, it works. She is. A pause. I want to say thank you. In person. I have something for you. You don't need to. Please, Sarah interrupted. I must. For my honor. For Lyra's future. Please. There was something in her voice. Not desperation this time. Determination. Okay, Marcus said. Where? They agreed to meet at a coffee shop near the refugee center. Neutral ground. Public. Marcus arrived first. Ordered a black coffee he couldn't really afford. Sat by the window. When Sarah walked in, he almost didn't recognize her. The emergency blanket was gone. She wore actual clothes now. Simple jeans and a sweater, but they fit. Clean. Her skin had color again. That pale blue-gray now had an almost iridescent quality under the cafe lights. Her sensory stalks stood upright, alert, and in a carrier strapped to her chest, Lyra. The baby had transformed. Chubby cheeks, bright eyes, sensory stalks twitching with curiosity as she took in the new environment. Marcus. Sarah approached his table, smiled. It changed her entire face. Thank you for coming. Jesus, Sarah. You both look great. She sat across from him, adjusted Lyra's carrier. Because of you. We are here because of you. I just bought some formula. No. Her voice was firm. You gave everything. I saw your face. At pharmacy. When you looked at price. When you used your card. I saw. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. It wasn't. I came here with nothing, Sarah continued. Pregnant. Alone. Husband was missing in action. Prisoner of war, they tell me. Maybe dead. I don't know. I arrive on Earth thinking it will be safe. Thinking Alliance members help each other. Her eyes darkened. No one helped. Until you. She reached into a bag Marcus hadn't noticed. Pulled out something wrapped in cloth. This is all I have from my home, she said, unwrapping it carefully. It was a pendant. Circular. Made of what looked like mother of pearl, but with colors that shifted in the light. Intricate engravings covered the surface. Some kind of writing in Sivari script. This was my grandmother's, Sarah said. And her grandmother's. It is, how you say, family legacy. Very old. Very valuable on my world. She held it out. I can't take that, Marcus said immediately. You must. Sarah. Please. She leaned forward. In my culture, when someone saves a life, especially a child's life, there is a debt. A sacred debt. It must be acknowledged. If you refuse this, you dishonor me. You dishonor Lyra. Marcus looked at the pendant. At Sarah's determined face. At Lyra, who was making small chirping sounds and reaching toward the shiny object. Okay, he said quietly. But I want you to keep it. What? Keep it for Lyra. When she's older, tell her. He paused. Tell her some guy named Marcus wanted her to have it. From her grandmother's grandmother. Sarah stared at him, eyes glistening. You are a very strange man, Marcus Chen. Yeah, he said. I get that a lot. They talked for 2 hours. Sarah told him about her home world. A planet called Sivari, known for its bioluminescent forests and crystal cities. She'd been a teacher there. Elementary level. Loved her job. Loved her students. Then the war had come. The Dominion had attacked Sivari as a strategic target. Her city had been evacuated. Her husband, Kale, had been a communications specialist in the Sivari defense fleet. He'd stayed behind to coordinate the evacuation. His ship had been captured 3 months ago. No word since. Alliance says prisoner exchange soon, Sarah said, stirring her third coffee. Maybe next month. Maybe later. They don't know. Or they don't say. And you came here alone. Evacuation ships go to different Alliance worlds. I was already pregnant. Sick. They send me to Earth because it has, how you say, good medical care for refugees. She laughed bitterly. I arrive. There is no housing. No job for me. My teaching credentials not recognized here. I am put in shelter with 30 other families. 1 bathroom. No privacy. And baby comes early. At the shelter. At hospital. They help with birth. But after. She looked down at Lyra, who'd fallen asleep against her chest. They give me 2 days. Then discharge. Give me paper with information for formula. But formula needs prescription. Prescription needs doctor appointment. Appointment needs insurance. Insurance needs. She made a frustrated gesture. I don't understand. Too many rules. Too much paperwork. And Lyra is hungry. Crying. Getting sick. So you went to the store. 5 stores. All say no. Some are nice about it. Some are not. Last one, your store, the manager calls security. Tells me I am trespassing. Her voice wavered. I sit in parking lot because I don't know where else to go. And then you come. Marcus felt anger rising in his chest. Not at her. At the system that had failed her so completely. At the managers who'd seen a dying baby and thought about store policy first. I'm sorry, he said. Why you apologize? You are only one who helped. Yeah, but you shouldn't have needed my help. The system should have worked. The hospital, the agencies, he stopped himself. Rubbed his face. Sorry. Fuck, I hate how this works sometimes. Sarah reached across the table. Put her hand on his. Her skin was cool. Slightly damp. But her grip was firm. You are good man, Marcus Chen, she said. My people have saying. The brightness of one star matters not in full daylight. But in darkness, even one star guides lost ships home. That's nice, Marcus said, very aware that his hand was still under hers. You are my star, Sarah said quietly. In my darkness. They stayed like that for a moment, hand in hand across a coffee shop table, and Marcus felt something shift. Something that had nothing to do with charity or pity or good deeds. Something a lot more complicated. So, he said, gently pulling his hand back. What's next for you? You and Lyra. Sarah sat back, cradled her daughter. I have job now. Cleaning office building at night. Is not teaching, but it pays. I save money for apartment. Shelter is loud. Hard to sleep. Hard for Lyra. How much do you need? For an apartment. First month rent, deposit, fees. She calculated. Maybe $3,000. I have saved $200 so far. Marcus did the math. At SaveMart wages, he knew exactly how long that would take. Especially with a baby. Listen, he said. I know a guy. Landlord. Kind of a hard ass, but fair. Let me talk to him. See if he's got anything. Marcus, you have done enough. I'm just making a phone call, he interrupted. That's all. No money. Just, let me try. She studied him for a long moment. Then nodded. Okay, but I pay my own rent. I don't accept charity. Wouldn't dream of offering, he said with a smile. 2 days later, Marcus helped Sarah move into a studio apartment in his building. It wasn't much. 300 square feet, ancient radiator that clanked at night, questionable water pressure. But it had a working stove, a separate bedroom alcove, and windows that actually locked. More importantly, his landlord, who owed Marcus for fixing the building's boiler last winter, had waived the deposit and accepted a payment plan on the first month's rent. It's perfect, Sarah said, standing in the middle of the empty space. Lyra strapped to her chest, looking around like it was a palace. It's a shithole, Marcus corrected. But it's your shithole. She laughed. That full, genuine laugh he'd heard only twice before. Yes, my shithole. Thank you. Over the next few weeks, a routine developed. Sarah worked nights cleaning offices. Marcus worked evenings at SaveMart. Their schedules overlapped just enough that he'd see her leaving as he was coming home. Sometimes they'd stop in the hallway, talk for a few minutes, share stories about their days. He learned she had a terrible sense of humor but loved puns. That she sang lullabies to Lyra in Sivari that sounded like wind chimes. That she was teaching herself English through children's books and sitcom reruns. She learned he'd wanted to be a chef before student debt had made culinary school impossible. That his parents had died in a car accident when he was 19. That he'd been alone long enough to forget what it felt like not to be. One night, Sarah knocked on his door at 2 a.m. Marcus opened it, half asleep. What's wrong? Lyra has fever, Sarah said. She looked terrified. I don't know what to do. Human medicine or Sivari medicine or... Okay, slow down. How high? She showed him a thermometer reading. 101.3 degrees Fahrenheit. Has she been eating? Yes. Drinking too. But she is so hot and crying, Anne. Hey! Marcus put his hands on her shoulders. Felt her trembling. It's okay. Babies get fevers. It's normal. But we should get her checked out just to be safe. I'll drive you to the urgent care. It's middle of night. You have work tomorrow. Sarah. He looked her in the eyes. Get Lyra's diaper bag. I'll get my keys. At the urgent care, the doctor, a tired-looking woman who didn't even blink at treating a Sivari infant, confirmed it was just a mild viral infection. Common in babies. Nothing serious. Recommended infant pain reliever and rest. Sarah nearly cried with relief. On the drive home, Lyra slept in her car seat, the fever already dropping from the medication. Thank you, Sarah said quietly. Again. Always I am thanking you. It's fine. No. She turned to look at him. The street lights painted her face in alternating light and shadow. You could have told me to call taxi. To take bus. But you get out of bed. Drive us. Stay with us. Why you do this? Marcus kept his eyes on the road. Because you needed help. Always that answer. She sounded almost frustrated. But why you? Why you care about us? He didn't answer right away. Let the question hang there in the dark car while the heater hummed and Lyra breathed softly in the back. Because, he finally said, I know what it's like to be alone. And I guess, I don't want you to be. When he glanced over, Sarah was crying. Not the desperate tears from that first night. These were quiet, gentle. I'm not alone anymore, she whispered. Because of you. Marcus pulled into their building's parking lot. Turned off the engine. Sat there in the sudden silence. Sarah. I should go, she said quickly. Lyra needs to sleep. Thank you. For everything. Good night. She was out of the cab before he could say anything else. But as he watched her disappear into the building, Lyra bundled against her chest, he realized something. He wasn't alone anymore either. 3 months after that first night in the parking lot, Sarah knocked on Marcus's door at 9 p.m. on a Thursday. When he opened it, she was standing there with an expression he couldn't read. Not quite happy. Not quite sad. Something bigger than both. Cale is alive, she said. Marcus felt his stomach drop. Your husband? She nodded. Alliance made prisoner exchange. He is coming here. To Earth. They send me message today. He arrives in 2 weeks. Sarah, that's incredible. And he meant it. He did. Even as something in his chest twisted. You must be so relieved. Yes. She laughed, but it sounded shaky. Yes, I am. I thought he was dead. For so long I thought. She wiped her eyes. I need to tell someone. And you are my first thought. I'm glad you told me. They stood there in his doorway, the hallway light buzzing above them. Will you? Sarah hesitated. When he comes, will you meet him? I want him to know you. To know what you did for us. Sure, Marcus said. Of course. Thank you. She turned to leave, then stopped. Marcus. Yeah. I don't know what happens now. With Cale coming, everything will change. But I want you to know. She looked back at him. These months. With you. They are when I learned to be alive again. Not just surviving. Living. Because of you. Then she was gone, disappearing into her apartment before he could respond. Marcus closed his door. Leaned against it. Tried to figure out why doing the right thing suddenly felt so fucking complicated. The day Cale arrived, Marcus considered not showing up. It would have been easier. Cleaner. Sarah had her husband back. Her family was whole. His part in the story was over. But he'd promised. So he went. The refugee center's reunion area was chaos. Families crying, embracing, speaking in a dozen different languages. Marcus stood near the back, hands in his pockets, feeling out of place. Then he saw them. Sarah ran across the room into the arms of a tall Sivari male. He was broader than her, skin a darker shade of blue-gray, with prominent ridges along his jawline that marked him as male. His sensory stalks were shorter, thicker. Military cut, probably. He lifted Sarah off her feet. Buried his face in her neck. Marcus looked away. This felt too private. Too raw. When he looked back, Sarah was showing Cale their daughter. The man's face transformed. All the hardness melting away as he took Lyra carefully in his arms. Stared at her like she was a miracle. Which, Marcus supposed, she was. Sarah said something to Cale. Pointed toward Marcus. The Sivari male's eyes found him across the room. Marcus forced himself not to look away. Cale walked over, still holding Lyra. Up close, he was imposing. Easily 6'4", broad shoulders, scars visible on his neck and arms. Eyes that had seen things Marcus couldn't imagine. "You are Marcus," Cale said. His English was better than Sarah's had been. Accent still there but clearer. "The one who saved my family." "I just bought some formula," Marcus said. "No." Cale's voice was quiet but absolute. "Sarah told me everything. What you did. How you found her. How you gave all you had. How you—" He looked down at Lyra. "How you made sure my daughter lived. And my wife. You saved them both. Anyone would've." "No." Cale stepped closer. "Not anyone. I have seen this galaxy. I have seen what most people do when someone needs help. They walk away. You did not walk away." He shifted Lyra to one arm. Extended his other hand. But not for a handshake. His palm was open. Flat. Facing up. Sarah appeared beside him. "Cale, you don't have to." "I do." He didn't look away from Marcus. "In my culture, when someone saves your family, there is a debt. A sacred debt. It must be honored." Marcus looked at Sarah. She nodded slightly. "Okay," he said. "What do I do?" "Place your hand on mine," Cale instructed. Marcus did. The moment their skin touched, Cale spoke. Not in English. In Sivari. The words were musical, rhythmic, formal. When he finished, Sarah translated. "He says, you gave life to my child. You gave hope to my wife. You gave light in darkness. For this, I swear before the ancestors, your life is mine to protect, your burdens are mine to carry, your enemies are mine to face. From this day until my last breath, you are family. You are brother." Cale switched back to English. "This is blood oath. Sacred. Unbreakable. Do you accept?" Marcus's throat was tight. Yeah, I accept." Cale pulled him into an embrace. A crushing, breath-stealing hug that lasted several seconds. When he pulled back, there were tears on his face. "Thank you," Cale said. "Thank you for keeping them alive." The weeks after Cale's return were strange. Marcus tried to give the family space. Tried to let them rebuild their life without him hovering around. But Cale wouldn't allow it. The Sivari mail showed up at Marcus's door 3 days after arriving. Knocked until Marcus answered. "You will have dinner with us," Cale announced. "Not a question. I don't want to intrude." "You are family. Family does not intrude. Come. Sarah is cooking." Dinner became a weekly thing. Then twice weekly. Cale was relentless in his gratitude. He helped Marcus fix his car when the transmission started acting up. He paid for Marcus's groceries 1 week when SaveMart's hours got cut. He introduced Marcus to other Sivari refugees, many of whom were looking for work. Through those connections, Marcus got offered a better job. Assistant manager at an organic grocery chain. Better hours. Better pay. Health insurance. He almost turned it down. It felt like charity. But Sarah pulled him aside. "Let him do this. Please. In our culture, the debt must be balanced. If you refuse everything, it hurts him. It hurts his honor. I don't want to take advantage. You are not. You gave us everything when you had nothing. Now we have something. Let us give back." So Marcus took the job. And slowly, carefully, he found himself becoming part of their family. He was there when Lyra took her first steps. When she spoke her first word. It was Mama, which seemed appropriate. He was there for Sivari holidays he didn't understand but celebrated anyway because Sarah's cooking was incredible. He was there when Cale woke up screaming from nightmares about the prison camp. Helped Sarah calm him down. Sat with him until dawn. They were there when Marcus's piece of shit Honda finally died. Cale helped him shop for a replacement. Negotiated in 3 different languages until the dealer was practically crying. Months became a year. One night, after dinner at their place, Marcus was helping Sarah with dishes while Cale put Lyra to bed. "She asked about you today," Sarah said, scrubbing a pot. "Lyra. She wanted to know why you don't live with us. I told her you have your own home. She said that was stupid." Sarah laughed. Her word. Stupid. Marcus dried a plate. "Well, she's not wrong. My place is pretty stupid compared to yours. You could, you know." He looked at her. "Could what?" "Live with us. We have room now. The 2-bedroom. You could." She wasn't looking at him. Focused very intently on the pot. "Cale and I discussed it. We want you to know you are welcome. Always." Sarah, I know it is strange. It is not traditional. But nothing about us is traditional. And Lyra, she loves you. She asks for Uncle Marcus every day. And Kale, he says you are his brother. His family. And I. She stopped scrubbing. Set the pot down. I want you to be happy, Marcus. And I think, maybe you are less alone when you are with us. Yes. Marcus set down the dish towel. Yeah, I am. She turned to face him. They were standing very close in the small kitchen. Then stay, she said quietly. Not in apartment. Here. With us. With family. I don't know if that's a good idea. Why not? Because I'm half in love with you, he thought. Because every time Kale touches you I feel like I'm betraying him even though I've never acted on it. Because I don't know how to be around you and not want more. Because, he said instead. It's complicated. Sarah studied his face. Her eyes, that strange inner glow, seemed to see right through him. Kale knows, she said. Marcus's heart stopped. Knows what? That you have feelings. For me. She said it simply. Matter of fact. He sees it. I see it. Sarah, I wouldn't. I know. That is why he trusts you. Why I trust you. She reached up, touched his face. Her cool palm against his cheek. In Sivari culture, love is not, how you say, limited. Not ownership. When someone shows devotion, shows care, shows love, it is honored. Not feared. I don't understand. Kale is my husband. My mate. Father of my child. This will never change. She kept her hand on his face. But you saved us. You gave everything for us. You have been here, through everything. You are family. And in my hat. She paused. There is room for both. If you want. Marcus couldn't breathe. What are you saying? I am saying that Sivari can love more than one. That our family can be more than two. That if you want to be with us, truly with us, we want that too. The kitchen door opened. Kale entered. He looked at them standing there. Sarah's hand on Marcus's face. Marcus frozen in confusion and longing. Did you ask him? Kale said to Sarah. I am trying. Kale approached. Stood beside his wife. Looked at Marcus with that same intense gaze from the refugee center. In my culture, Kale said, strength is not in numbers. It is in bonds. You have proven your bond to us. Again and again. If you wish to be part of this family, not just as brother, but as. He glanced at Sarah. As matekin. We would accept this. Honor this. I don't. Marcus looked between them. I don't know what that means. It means, Sarah said gently, that we want you here. In our family. In our life. In our home. In our hearts. If you want the same. Marcus stood in that kitchen, between two people he'd somehow come to love, and realized he was being offered something he'd never imagined possible. A family. Real family. Not born into. Not obligated. Chosen. I don't want to mess this up, he said quietly. What you two have, it's beautiful. And Lyra needs stability. She needs you, Kale interrupted. She already sees you as father. You know this? Yes. Marcus nodded. He did know. Lyra called Kale Papa and him Da. He'd thought it was just a kid thing. But maybe. I don't know how this works, Marcus admitted. Your culture, my culture, they are so different. How do we? We make new culture, Sarah said. Together. Just like we have been. Yes. She was right. For the past year, they'd been creating something new. Something that didn't fit neatly into either human or Sivari traditions. Something that was just theirs. Okay, Marcus said. Yes. Yes. Sarah's face broke into the widest smile he'd ever seen. She pulled him down into a kiss. Gentle. Sweet. Tasting like the Sivari tea she'd been drinking. When she pulled back, Kale was smiling too. Welcome home, brother, he said. 3 years later. Marcus woke to small fingers prying his eyelid open. Da, wake up. Mama says breakfast. He groaned, swatting gently at the fingers. 5 more minutes, Lyra. No minutes. Now. Papa made the good pancakes. That got his attention. Kale's Sivari-style pancakes were legendary. Okay. I'm up. Lyra beamed. At 4 years old, she was a perfect blend of her parents. Sarah's face shape and coloring, Kale's broader build and sturdy frame. Her sensory stalks were growing improperly now, responding to her emotions with twitches and shifts that made her easier to read than most adults. She grabbed his hand, tugging him out of bed. Come on, come on. Baby is hungry too. Right. The baby. Marcus followed Lyra to the kitchen of their actual house. Not an apartment. A house. 3 bedrooms, a yard, a mortgage they could actually afford thanks to Cale's job at the Sivari Defense Commission and Marcus's promotion to regional manager. Sarah stood at the counter, very pregnant, rubbing her lower back. Their second child, his child, biologically, thanks to some very expensive genetic compatibility treatments, was due in 3 weeks. Morning, she said, leaning into him when he kissed her forehead. Your son is sitting on my bladder again. He gets that from me. I had terrible manners even in utero. She laughed, swatted his arm. Cale was at the stove, flipping pancakes with the confidence of a man who'd spent 3 years perfecting the recipe. You sleep well? He asked Marcus. Until someone's daughter used my eye socket as a doorbell. She learns from the best, Cale said with a grin. They ate breakfast together. All 4 of them. Soon to be 5. Lyra chattering about her preschool class. Sarah complaining about her ankles. Cale planning his weekend fishing trip with some of the other Sivari vets. Marcus just listened. Soaked it in. This impossible, beautiful, complicated family. After breakfast, while Cale took Lyra to the park, Sarah found Marcus in the backyard, checking on the garden. You're thinking again, she said, lowering herself carefully into a lawn chair. Dangerous, I know. What about? Marcus sat beside her, took her hand. 3 years ago, I gave you my last $43 in a parking lot. Best investment you ever made, she said with a smile. Yeah. He looked at their joined hands. Hers pale blue. His tan. I think about that night sometimes. How close I came to just walking away. If I'd been 5 minutes earlier or later. If I'd parked on the other side. If I'd just. But you didn't. She squeezed his hand. You stopped. You saw us. You helped. And everything changed. For both of us. For all of us, she corrected. Me, Lyra, Cale, you. Even this little one. She put his hand on her belly. He felt the baby kick. All of us are here because you chose kindness. When it cost you everything. I got a lot more back than I gave. Yes, Sarah said softly. Because that is how love works. You give, and it grows. You share, and it multiplies. You open your heart, and somehow. She gestured to the house, the yard, the life they'd built. Somehow it becomes more than you ever imagined. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the clouds drift by. I love you, Marcus said. I love you too. She paused. Though Cale loves you more. Don't tell him I said that. I heard that, Cale's voice called from the back door. Lyra giggled beside him. Marcus laughed. Sarah laughed. Even the baby seemed to kick in amusement. And in that moment, Marcus thought about that night in the parking lot. About a desperate mother and a dying baby and $43 that turned into forever. He thought about walking away. And he'd never been more grateful that he hadn't. Because sometimes, the last of your credits buys you everything. Sometimes, one moment of kindness changes the entire world. And sometimes, the family you choose chooses you right back.